What's up, everybody? It's your favorite aperture's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at Fanstoys Spotter, and I've been looking forward to this guy for a long time. We're going to talk about the accessories because that's where a fair amount of my issues lie, but we'll talk about them first. So he comes with a handful of faces, which I think is awesome. I think that little stuff like this, giving the collector the option to display the character as he or she seems fit, is the good way to do it. We'll talk about the faces of the bots as we go through them, but for the extra ones, you get kind of an evil smiley face. There. I'm going to be cutting away the unfocused parts. Another smirk. Looking good. Really happy face, which is not for me. Super serial face, which looks great. Another smirk, which looks good. And another super serial face. So plenty of options. Love it. Nice touch. Very clever. Very smart. Totally dig it. Alright. The rest of this stuff is not so smart. We get guns. I don't know if these are G1 accurate or not. I can't remember, but it doesn't really matter to me all that much. Let's go in. Typical Masterpiece peg-in handgun. Holds it like a champ. Not a problem. They're all single cast, tight like a Taiga fit. Kind of a dull sculpt, no paint, but they're there. You get 3 of those. You get 3 translucent energon cubes. Never have really enough of those, can you? You get this camera here, which I feel like it looks like it should like split apart and stuff, but it doesn't. It's got nice paint on it. The paint all matches the grays, the reds, the metallic green in the center, and then the silver up in there, and it looks good. It's, you know, it's fine. Doesn't hurt anything. You get this thing, which is gun-ish, I suppose, and holds it there. I mean, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? He holds it fine, but it just looks ridiculous. You know, I mean, I guess better that they did something with it than nothing. But I think that the way that Make Toys did that is an awful lot smarter. Same with these. More guns. They're made out of 2 bits, and they don't come this way in the packaging. They come connected into the flash for the camera, and I'll show you how to do that. Just for the sake of time, I didn't want to do it twice. So the nice thing about this, though, is that it slides into the hand, and it should, if you adjust the trigger, can tab into the forearm, and then he holds it, you know, like a champ, which is nice. But once again, another weapon that I'll never use. That'll all be sitting in the box for me. Now, this. I haven't made my mind up yet because I haven't decided whether or not I'm doing something wrong or they did something wrong. But this has a knife. Shout out to Decepticon. It is a big old knife. And it's fine. Silver paint applied to the blade, which looks good. The problem is that I can't, for the life of me, figure out a way to store it, and I don't see it. I even looked in the instructions for you guys, and I don't see it there. Now, it seems like it should go there, but oh, just bloody doesn't, does it, mate? Look at that. I mean, it's like, you know, so waste, stupid, poorly thought out, unless there's a way to do it that I haven't thought about or haven't tried. And I have tried a majority of things. I've tried those, in case you guys don't believe me. You guys all believe me, don't you? Now watch it go. I feel like a ripe idiot. Yeah, doesn't fit. And then you have these. They're like ankle knife holders, which are fine. I won't be using them because I feel like it takes away from the you know, holds the knife, which is cool. But I feel like it takes away from the G1 accuracy of it all. So those are the accessories. There's plenty of them. Not the smartest, but they're there. So this is the Trooper. And we will only be looking at the articulation on him. I'll go through the other one and tell you if there's any joint issues with the second one, but here we go. So the head is on a ball joint, but you still get good up and decent down, and then you get the swivel, and it all works kind of fine. Silver finish on the face like we saw on the spare heads, red eyes painted on, that all looks good. Silver paint on the chest, that looks good. The green metallic paint on the chest looks spot on money, perfect. And then the arms, solid gray plastic, doesn't look like there's a finish on there, with a red stripe painted on that is done fairly well. I'll just talk about the paint real quick. This purple paint down here on the shins looks amazing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then the silver and red paint there looks kind of good enough. I don't feel like a lot of companies would have done this. This is almost like a tamper type paint design, where it's not like in a specific notch like the red is there. That's all done separate, and it looks good. So cheers to them for that. And that's it. So let's talk about articulation. So arms are on a universal joint, so you get the swivel all the way around. You get the hinge up and down to 90 degrees, so that's fine. Bicep swivel, that works fine. Elbows, double jointed, get you way past 90 degrees, so that's fine. Wrist swivel, and then a hinge at the base knuckle of the 4 fingers, and that works fine. Same for the other side, because as Fanstoys we'll talk about the joint tolerance, so this one may not be down all the way. There it is. Fine, 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 and fine. Waist swivel works like a champ. We have hip skirts on here, so we can get those puppies up. This one is tighter than that one, I will say that. And then these feel like they have some give, but yeah, they do. Oh, I wonder what my kid is destroying upstairs. It's the bad one too, so who knows. Universal joints for hips, up straight to there, out to the side to there, so that's fine. Thigh swivel, double jointed knee, getting you the full run. And then ankle, no ankle tilt, but you get a toe tilt. I think that'll work good enough. And then ankle rocker to whatever degree you could possibly imagine. So that's all good. This guy, same type of thing. Head ball joint. This extra paint apps, you get this gray on top of here, and then you get the silver underneath, and then the silver inside, and it all looks good. Other than that, the paint is pretty much identical. Joints all identical and work fine. Make sure here. I will say this. These go, but they do feel like they do feel a little tight, these side hip skirts, but they do work just well. Yeah, a little tight there, but outside of that. And also it should be mentioned that, you know, when you move these hip skirts, it does prevent the waist swivel. The front and back, these two. 5 swivels. Knees are the same, toe tilt, ankle rocker, good to go. I'll check the third one, and if he's good, we'll get back to it. Size comparison wise, here they are next to an MP car. It's worth it. Let's straighten them up. These guys aren't really standing straight up either, so I'd say they're about the same size. And then, of course, the one that everybody wants to see. There they are with Thundercracker, and I think that looks good. And because why not, there they are with the G1s. Let's start with the accessories. Take this piece off of this part, and then you slide this out. This part usually gives me problems. What I've been doing is jamming my Warbotron screwdriver in, placing it between the two, thumb there, slides it out, and then this is good to go, and this is good to go. You can expand that like that, set it to the side. So you do that twice. This one here is a bit more of a nightmare. Open up these pieces here on the side, close your handle, rotate your lens 180, and then again vertically 180, and it's a translucent piece of plastic, so you want to use extreme caution. I've almost got her. There she is. And then this part here was open up. You just close that, and then you can spin that around over top, and then as we get the other pieces on this, we'll fool with that in a minute. So at the end, you're left with this set of pieces, and what you do is you take your flash and you line these up so that these notches here go down in there, and then there's a little peg that goes into a hole there, and then same for the other side, like that, and then that goes around it, clips it all together, and then this goes like that, and that's done. And these are the other three pieces that you're left with. And you take this. This is hard to get back into this position. Use caution because of this translucent piece here. I would have preferred they did like a more metallic green paint like Make Toys did than this translucent piece, because this makes me very nervous. It's thick enough, so to speak, but this is how you want it. There's like a little notch and then two tabs on both sides, and just use caution. And then you take your pieces from your gun, and then they tab in there, and there, and voila. Okay, so let's go. Then the two troopers are pretty much the same. If there's any differences, I'll try to point them out as I go through, but if there's not, I'm just going to pretty much keep to transforming the one. So here we go. Without any further ado, open this up here and bring this up, bring that up, and then once you have that, you can pull out from here. There's a couple of issues that this guy has in terms of transformation, but let's see if we can take steps to make those as less of a pain as possible. Close up the fists. You guessed it. We're opening this up. Now, make sure that you do this so that the hand is facing out. If you don't, you will be hating life shortly thereafter. And I'm speaking from experience. Same on the other side, and then you can collapse these. These don't always collapse as easily as you wish they would, but keep at it, my boy, and you will persevere. All right, you can tuck the feet into. It's just one of those things. Okay, so here you want to flip up these hip skirts. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Let's do this first. Separate these pieces. They're hard to get to if you don't have nails like myself. So turn the head around and then bring that down. Don't bring it down all the way, because it'll help you if you don't. Actually, let's just leave it up. To bring these pieces up. And then you can bring it down on top. Now you'll have the clearance to get these hip skirts all the way up, and they don't move as easily as you would like them to. That's one of my complaints. You can open this up, this butt flap. As you do, bring the hips around, and then it's hard. Like, I don't know. I guess leave it up first. You want to have the hinge visible to you, and then rotate the legs so that the screws are visible to you. So same on the other side, and that's how you want that. At this point, you can rotate these, or can you? No, you can't. Okay, so bring this piece down here, and you can encapsulate this front piece with this end, but I wouldn't worry too much about it now, because the chances are something's going to drive you nuts later on and cause that to be an issue. So move the legs around to the back, close this and this, and then rotate these arms around here to the front, and this is where trouble begins to find its way into paradise. Now I wonder, there you go. Open this up. That'll grab the back. Take the feet. Open all of this. Rotate these around. And this is where trouble occurs. You got to bend here. right at that slot, and you need to get it as close to 90 degrees as you can, which can sometimes pose a bit of a struggle.
Oh, he's getting frustrated.
Because as you do that, you also need to collapse these.
I hope he has to do it off camera.
Like, I don't have it there, so I'll probably have to do it off camera, but
yes.
now the issue is that you see this should be flush, and it's not, so it's going to cause me grief. I already know it, but I'm going to try to circumvent my way around it. These joints just don't.
He did it even though he knew it wouldn't work.
I'll tell you, there's a reason why a lot of these reviewers are doing this from camera mode. I think I may have found the key. I loosened this screw, and now it operates. I just say that and then it doesn't. But there it is. See, the problem is that's perfect. So, see how that goes? Yep. Uncle Skullface has cracked the code. Alright, so now this should go in there. Boom. Done and done. So this one's basically the same, little differences, and we're not going to show the third one because that one's pretty much, it's all the same, right? So lift this up, manipulate it, rotate it around. It's going to bend the head forward, and then this sort of sits willy-nilly. We can get the arms sorted while we're here. Open this up. Remember to do it so that the fingers are out, and then close it up. Same for the other side. Open this up. Fingers are up. Rotate it. Close it up. Rotate this so that these line up. Push it down. You'll find that some are easier than others. Same on the other side. Good to go. In the back, you want to disconnect this piece, flip all this out, at which point you can rotate these up. And I don't know if you're supposed to bring the head down at all or not, but let's do it anyway. And then the legs. So open all this up, and we're gonna try our new method. Close the feet up, and we don't have the bottom piece here to cover his face because his head's already covered. Take his hip skirt, fold that up, this up, and then pull that down, and then you can manipulate this as you rotate that so that the universal hinge is showing and the screws are facing you, paint is facing down. Same on the other side, and then you rotate this piece down here at the bottom and you can tab it in to the bottom pelvis. Now you can bring this piece down and you can open up this. This will encapsulate that. Bring the legs to the front and close the hip skirts, or legs to the back, I suppose. Rotate this in, tab the forearm into the body, and now what we're going to do, I guess I should have, you know what, I'm moving too quick. Let's open this back up. And we'll open this. I think we should just have to do just one. Yeah. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to loosen this screw right here. Just a turn and a half, maybe. Maybe just one turn. Alright, now we're going to bring that back around, close the hip skirts, close these up. Make sure we set ourselves up for success, and then rotate. Look how much smoother that is. As you rotate, you can push this down. I had to say something, didn't I? Still better though. Yeah, much better. That one's perfect. This one, let's get her again. Yeah. Good. So yeah, just loosen that screw up a taste. And then you can close this up here. And close that up. And that up. And then we'll get all three of these together and I'll show you how to do the top bits. So take this and close this down so that sits like that. So then you have these three pieces at the end. This piece here comes down if like it pops off this thing and then you got to reattach it. That's the only way I've been able to get it to do it in order to get it to sit right. But it comes down this hinge here and then these pieces flip out. Then this tabs in kind of underneath the foot like so. Good night. I've just gotta tell you, I've just about had enough. All right. Then all these three tabs are two tabs. You see what I'm saying? I'm losing my patience. Tab, 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 slot, 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 slot. And then this tabs in up here. And I don't know why that doesn't sit quite right on mine. But I'm done messing with it, so there it shall stay. Same thing here. And, oh, good grief. And why am I having so much difficulty on this unit? There. I forgot to bring those pieces down. I will try it, but guess what I'm not doing? There we go. Easy. Thank God. I guess I was owed one, maybe? So yeah, and that still ain't right. Look at it. There. There it is. Okay. So we flip this down, and then put that on. And then you want these little slots. You see there's slight indentations inside the ring. You want those on the bottom. And this comes all in here. Moment of truth. Huh. That was easier than I expected. Let's take a look. Holds together well. I will say I feel like it's more cartoon accurate than Make Toys, but I feel like Make Toys looks better. Make Toys looks cooler as a camera, and whatnot. But yeah, the paint shows up well. You got that. I feel like that. I know that doesn't move, but it would be nice if it did. All in all, it does its job. It does a good job. But it's not. I can tell you for the work that goes into it, I'm not entirely sure it's worth it. Definitely, I'd do it once and be done. I'll never do it again. It's just not a whole lot of fun. But it does pull it off successfully, and it does look more like an 80s camera of this type than the Make Toys one does. And it looks more appropriate to the cartoon. So there is a bonus in it. I'm just not sure if it's worth the cost of admission. Final thoughts. For those that know me, they know that I usually do the negatives first and then the positives, but this is a very different type of situation. So I'm just gonna freestyle it, just speak about this set, speak about the Make Toys set, because it's a different type of conversation. And the reason why is because what's better or worse or whatever is so objective and so up for debate with this set. I love the way these guys look. I think what's going to happen here is this is going to come down to what type of collector you are. If you're a collector that likes to manipulate your toys, that likes to constantly change them back and forth and all that kind of stuff, I think I have to recommend the Make Toys set. Unfortunately, they don't quite serve my purposes. And what I am as a collector is I'm just a display guy. I like to set them up and I like to kind of be done with them. And I like to have the best representation of that character on my shelf and kind of wrap up shop. So for that, these guys are going to work perfectly. As far as these guys and the Make Toys guys, their articulations both comparable. There's nothing that really lacks on one that the other has, or vice versa. Aesthetic-wise, I prefer these. I think they look more reminiscent of the cartoon. I think that the color choices are better. I think that the overall presentation kind of reminds me a bit more of the cartoon and how I know these characters. So I'm happy with that. The joints here are good. That's another positive about this set. And contrarily to some of the other Fanstoys products that we've seen that have the squeaks and stuff, I haven't got one squeak here. Unfortunately, with this set, I have lost some tension after the transformation. Namely, with these panels there on the back. They're doing the Hasbro dance after one transformation. Now, it's the same thing with this piece. If it comes untabbed, it kind of flops around a bit. And all of the pieces that do that seem to have these larger pins. These have them. Let's see if I can't show you. Right there. That seems to be the common thread, so I would recommend that they get away from that as soon as possible. That's a real bummer. These guys are not the same now that they were when I originally transformed them. Before I originally transformed them, rather. It's lost some tension in some spots. Outside of that, the transformations, the Make Toys one is fine, but it has some parts that'll irritate you, and it's the same thing here. I will say that after I figured out to loosen that one screw, the other ones transform much better. The initial screw is just way too tight, and you can't get the leverage you need to wrap them up. Loosening that one screw will give you a tons more wiggle room and allow you to transform them without wanting to rip your hair out. There's also the parts forming element of this. I think that Make Toys design is a lot smarter than this. But I also think that Make Toys is a lot more stylized. And that's not to say that I think that stylized choice is the wrong choice, because a lot of times I like a stylized choice. Like for instance, Warbotron's Bruticus is a stylized choice, but it just looks so good. With these characters, I think that the closer to G1 is a good mark. Now, the KFC ones haven't been released. I did see a prototype version of them. I did handle it. It looked okay, but it was just, there's no way to really tell what's going on with it until you actually get the finished product. But these guys are good. But if you are a guy that's going to constantly change them back and forth, I got to tell you, go with your heart. Go with Make Toys or this, depending on what you like aesthetically better. Just base it on looks, because the Make Toys ones, they're going to work a lot better for you both before and after transformation. You're going to lose some stuff. And it's not just this guy. That one's sticking together okay. But it's all of them. They all have that issue at the same spot. It's just, they're not perfect. They're not perfect at all. And neither are the Make Toys ones. So it's like, it's such a hard choice to make. What I can tell you, bottom line, at the end of the day, is this. I'm keeping these. I won't be getting the Make Toys set. This will be my Reflector. The reason why is because on the shelf, they're going to look fantastic. The articulation is great. The materials are great. The paint is great. And therefore, I am 100% content. If you are like me, then I can recommend these. If you are a guy that likes to constantly manipulate, constantly mess with, constantly figure out little nuances of the transformation, appreciate engineering. And some of the engineering here, actually, to be fair, a lot of the engineering here is even better than the Make Toys one. It's a lot more intuitive. It's a lot more fun once you loosen those screws, and it feels a lot more transformery. The Make Toys one, there's just all those panels and tabs and the legs and stuff kind of get obnoxious. You don't have that problem here after you loosen the screw. Actually, that was righty-tighty, wasn't it? After you loosen the screw. But initially, you will have all sorts of issues here. So, you know, I don't know. if you want that G1 reflector, I will say that after the Make Toys transformation, they felt just the same. Going to and back, they felt just the same. And I've already demonstrated here that you're going to lose some tension in some hinges. So it's not perfect. Not to say that the Make Toys one is, but for the aesthetic choice that the Make Toys one is, it's pretty close to it. So it's really going to come down to, unfortunately, personal preference. I know a lot of people wanted me to be able to give them a clear direction and which way to go. Unfortunately, I just can't do that because they just have pluses and negatives in different categories. All I can tell you is this is my reflector. This is the one that will be on my shelf, and I am satisfied, if not 100% impressed. That's a good word to use. Not impressed, but definitely happy. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Till next time, take care.